just anger, heartache, to say the least, and that is from someone who doesn't experience it personally, but for friends and loved ones and students. Incredible amounts of injustice, and to think that we're still here is quite unbelievable.
Just got to the point where I wanted to do something. I felt a little helpless, actually, until one of my students called and said, we marched last week on Tuesday. And I said, where? Because I hadn't heard. I don't read the DA, what is it, the DR?
The Daily Athenaeum.
Yeah.
It's hard to pronounce.
So I didn't know about that march, but then the next march they had the next week, I went out, and it was probably one of the most invigorating things I've done in my life, because I never was the type of person to speak out until that happened.
It definitely was devastating, the actual events that happened, but seeing the collective community and the rising that came out of it was really inspiring. So trying to see how I could apply that to my own communities and my own peers, my friends, my family, and have these discussions that were being had on a global scale was something that was really impactful.
Everything, of course, was very jarring. I guess it just, I don't know if it'll make sense what I'm about to say, but I guess it just reinforced my value, how the value of myself is to the rest of the country, meaning like being a Black person in America. But I thought everything that came out of it was really beautiful. The marches, everybody coming together to try to do better. This, in my lifetime, is the most that I've seen people speak out against everything that's happening and try their best to do what they can to do better. So, I mean, it's still jarring, but it's also nice to see that there's going to be improvement.
My main thing was representation, because again, like as a Black woman, as a Black person, that's one of the first things that we notice, is how many Black people are there, how many people of color are there. Typically there's not that many. And so then that's when I know, speaking for myself, I immediately disconnect from it, because I know it's not worth my time. It's not worth me engaging or putting like any mental energy into that, because I know I'm not going to get anything out of it.
I think that's really important to me that I don't see is the difficulty there is in the arts representing blended families. My family is very blended. All of my siblings are biracial. I have a sister that's very white passing. I have a brother that looks Hispanic. I'm Black. So these families are real, and a lot of people in the arts like refuse to show that. So like if I go to auditions and it's a family-oriented show, I don't get my hopes up if I'm in a predominantly white setting, because I'm like, well, they're not going to cast me. I don't look like A, B, and C. We're not going to pass as sisters, which isn't real. We could pass as sisters because these are real things.
I think there's tons of changes that are being brought to the forefront that we can see in the theatrical space, not just in the university level, but everywhere. From the smallest stage to Broadway, there's still tokenism in casting, and I think that's definitely an issue that is slowly being addressed and slowly being eliminated. And just the opportunity to cast any person of any color in any role.
When you write an email to your students to say what to wear during ballet class, the simple thing of saying wearing flesh-colored leotards and shoes as opposed to pink tights and shoes is a really important distinction. Not everybody has the same skin tone, so luckily we're seeing that in the dance and the ballet professional world, that dancers no longer have to stain their ballet shoes.
There's so many reasons as to why it's important, but I definitely think that, I mean, people just need to know about this stuff. Like, there's so much white privilege that comes, I mean, the people don't even realize, just starting there, I guess, that they have no idea what other people go through and what the people around them experience from day to day, which sets them behind in every single aspect of their life. every single aspect of university, academia, education, stuff like that. And so taking that first step to be introduced to it, again, helps you go further to kind of fight all of the disadvantages that these people face and basically lift them up, which is the whole point of anti-racism.
We're the examples of what we're supposed to, examples of what we want our students to be, or what we want our students to do, you know, in not only in school but in life.